No. Morning. Okay, is it working this time? Guess so. Hi, I'm back. Nikki and Alexis are taking some time off, and I will be painting something today. We have 3 figures here. Got another crab, like the one Nikki had done earlier. Over. We have a wild boar. That one looks kind of interesting and might be paint. And some sort of lizard salamander thing. This. Now, what I'm thinking of doing is, I'm thinking I might do this guy. And what I might want to do with it is, I haven't used some of these pearlescent paints that you've seen being used on Sturmgrimmy and a little bit on Hulwyn. So I'm thinking I might try some of those with this. So what this guy might end up with being is like a kind of a dark brown green fading into a lighter green, and some of these lizards have like a stripe, almost like a fluorescent, almost kind of reddish sort of stripe down the side, fading into yellow, fading into a lighter colored underbody. Now there's a really good chance none of this will work and he will turn out awful and need to be reprimed, but there's also a chance that he might end up looking real salamandery. So having been gone for a while, I needed to retrieve my brushes. I think I've got them here, and I'm going to have to search around for the paints that I want, including the color chart, because like I said, I've been gone for a bit and I need to see what I'm working with. Got my green color chart, so I'm thinking maybe this dark green fading into a sick green, those as the base colors, and then maybe I'll go with like pink or red, I'm not really sure which, with a stripe. And somewhere is a pearlescent color chart. Somewhere else now. Good. I'm thinking I could use this sort of pearlescent dark green as a wash over the top of the other greens to give them that kind of look. And then maybe like even this scarlet over a base coat with part of the stripe fading into maybe this orange color, or even the red ochre. I could even use, I didn't want it to be quite so reddish, but I think I do. I think sometimes salamanders have a bright stripe that would go down like along here, down to the body, maybe a little bit on the tail. Get either the scarlet or the copper. Maybe the scarlet would look okay. And then we'll see what we do with the underbody. But and then it's got these little bits off the top here. I'm gonna paint those some sort of bright color. But let me start with maybe I'll start with a dark green to get a base coat in and see how effective I am at blending that down into sick green without making it look like just a stripe. So let's see how that will go. Assuming this is working. Nobody's chatting. So if anybody's out there, let me know if this is going. Okay, because I can't really tell otherwise. Some green on this guy. And just to get started. We'll figure out delineations and things later. You can tell I have only the most vague sense of what I'm trying to do with this lizard. So we're going to start out pretty vague and work our way to less vague. It might require a good deal of repainting, maybe even starting from scratch later on. We will see. I'm going to paint this down to just below these little fin-like things. And kind of slop it down, because I don't want the boundary to be a real clean one. I want it to be, you know, a little stripey, but not like a real just precise stripe. Put a bunch of paint down there. And if it looks like there's too much of this dark green and not enough of the light green, then what I'll do is paint the light green up to the inside of the stripe. I can paint over one color over another, obviously. Down here. This might go really quickly, but my guess is that it will go so badly that you'll just see painting and repainting quite a lot. Hello, welcome who? I will do a flip as soon as I get this little bit of green base coat in, and then I'll find something to flip that will be, interesting or not. Okay, well, there's, green is happening here. Touch up because there's spots that are not getting covered. This is typical with a rough surface on this primer. Okay, should we flip a crab? Flip a crab. Oh, crab's upside down. Crab's still upside down. Crab doesn't want to be upside up. So that was the flipping crab. think I'll end up painting these guys up on top kind of an orange color, these little scale things. By the pearlescent orange on them, and see that paint is kind of a weird texture. It's really see if I can even make it work. I want to paint them before I finish with this green color, because once I get that on there, I don't want to keep going back and forth with that color, and I'm likely to get it onto where the green is going. Sure, they're painted green, you know, and then I'll paint down to the green the pearlescent orange. What the base coat is in there. Isn't loving the primer totally. Thinking this dark green is, is going to work pretty well on the top here. Again, I'm just trying to get all the spots, many spots, because of the rough texture and the tendency for a dark color to not always cover precisely. I'm just kind of going down on that to where the next green color will kind of come in. I get it down into the base of these little fin-like things. I paint the undercoat, the next color down. Kind of trying to just shade it in. I think, getting this darker green on top. I may end up going back and forth a little bit until it's looks sort of natural. That's pretty much where I want the dividing line to be, more or less, between this color and the next one. Okay, we'll stop with this for a bit. Going on there at all. Let's see. Let that to dry. I guess I can do this. I can do the sick green next, just to see if that works. And I want it to not be quite a stripe, but look like it's kind of blending in. So I'm going to, I'm just going to get it, and I'm going to kind of, I don't want too much of it. I'm going to go down like about 1/8 of an inch or so, maybe a little longer. See if I can kind of blend that in to make it look like another green color. And I'm not sure. I want the dark green all the way on these legs. Anyway, I'll worry about the legs later. That might take a little bit of extra work. Yeah, it's going to be dark green on top, and then a little stripe of sick green. And like with a lot of lizards, they have no, there is actually going to be a little hot pink on there. Who, some lizards have a lateral stripe, and this lateral stripe is going to be hot pink with a scarlet, pearlescent scarlet overlay, and then that's going to kind of fade into like a red ochre color. Again, I'm just going to be playing with the pearlescent paints on this guy. He's going to be maybe a little shiny, And then the underbody will probably be a very light color. Anyway, I'm just going to keep playing with this. See, as I promised, this might lead eventually to a complete repriming. Paper towels are now gone. Okay, easy. This is going to be an experimental failure of a lizard. So what I'm going to try to do with this, I'll start here on the tail. So what I want to do is do an underlayment. It's kind of raggedly, precisely, but just a little raggedly, sort of somewhat blends into the upper dark color. And this color goes on kind of bright, then becomes less so. And as I'm doing this, what I'll probably end up doing is coming back with the dark green. See, that's kind of what I wanted right there. So I may end up coming back with the dark green just to push the dark green kind of raggedly into it later. And I'm going to paint the legs this kind of color, at least on the top. And they may end up being quite a different color later. But I want to get some sort of base coat in just to see what I'm dealing with. The back of the leg should be the underbody color. So a fair amount of this might end up just getting painted over. And I'll go down to the claws here. I'd like to put this on holder, and maybe I'll try to do that in a bit. If I could find where I would hold it. The sticky tack thing. Otherwise, somewhat of an awkward lizard thing. Yeah, see, like here, I'm definitely bringing the darker green down a little further. I'm going to do that when I do the touch-up after I do the spines. And then there's going to be another lighter color on the underbody here. So I want to take this down far enough so that I can put that under color, probably like a sand or an ivory or something, so that I can come up into this color. And then somewhere in here will be the very bright stripe. There won't be too much of this green here, because then it blends into the lower body color. But at least this gives me some idea of, what the boundary area will look like. How far down I should go with the darker green into this lighter green. Or what will happen with the face. So I'm just going to kind of leave the face that color right now. Just keep moving around here. I think definitely more, I don't know, it looks real different from the top than from the side, and there is no place to hold this beastie. I might just end up like sacrificing a foot and coming back to it at the end or something, so that I just have even a place to grab onto it. Worry about symmetry a little bit later. But it's definitely not that. That is, it's definitely not symmetric at the moment. Combination of colors is, especially where it's drying here, it's actually coming out okay. Then, like in the other side, I'm going to paint a good deal of this leg sick green color, just to give it a base coat, and then I can decide what to do with it a little bit later. That did work. Definitely have to touch up that, but the brush slipped and got all sorts of wrong green on the wrong place. Like I said, I'm just trying to get a sort of a ragged edge there. And it's, the ragged part is coming along okay. Definitely ragged. toenails. I might just want to make sure I paint the toenails, claws, those just completely covered, because again, painting up to them is an easier thing later on. See the kind of the raggedy edge there, it's kind of working out, especially since I'm going to be blending that with an overcoat of pearly paint, like a kind of a dry brush kind of thing. That seems to have worked pretty well for Nikki on Sturmgrimmy. Now I need to get to the part that I'm holding. Do that, and then there. It's definitely want to paint the whole claw part, because it's pretty clear that I'm missing coverage otherwise. Before I put the glaze, I'll just call it that on this. Yeah, see, this is pretty cool. I like that the way it stripes down onto the leg. And that's not so good, but this needs, that little kind of flowing down thing needs to happen here. And just like there's more dark coverage on this leg, there needs to be more dark coverage on this leg. So after this dries a little bit, and I do the spikies on top, I'll get the dark green out again, and the back legs that's okay. That's kind of coming out a little more symmetric. The little line down there looks pretty good. So I'm going to try to do something similar on the other side. So, dealing with symmetry. Just looking at the dark green compared to the spikes on the top. Back. Again, I'm going to try to get a really bright stripe, probably right near the bottom of this lighter green color. But we'll let that set for just a bit. Clean the brush here. Now, Vivian, I already did a flip. You want another one? This time I'll flip a wild boar, because it's sitting here. Ready? Nope. Always lands on its side, never on its feet. Yeah. Get out a teeny brush here. This one. Yeah, this is the one I was using. And I'm going to get the just the orange pearlescent. Which is really shiny on screen, and use that to paint the little spikes on the top there. And we'll see how that goes. It's amazing how just miss spots. Another one down in here. Yeah, so before I glaze this, there's going to be just a lot of searching and touching from many different angles. I'm going to try to find that orange pearlescent paint, and we'll see how it flows. Like I said, it's pretty viscous, and it might not work very well. Well, the whole box of it was out here before. There it is. A box of pearlescent paints, many colors. This is orange, so I've only used this before to make the color chart, so I'm not sure how it will work. We will find out. I'm expecting it will glob onto the dark green pretty badly, and I'll be spending a lot of time with the dark green coming back up and touching up to the base of these little fins. But that's okay, because I want to move the dark green, like on this guy, to make the little stripy thing down onto the next arm, and to put more green on that arm. So yeah, anyway. Take squeeze them out and see what happens with this paint. Whoa. Okay, well, there's enough there to cover the entire lizard 4 times over. Very pretty. Very pretty, shiny, lightly stripy paint. Let me get some on the brush here. Let's start back here, because really, I'll start with these guys. On one hand, it's a very viscous paint. On the other hand, it's kind of translucent. Like a wash more than it is full coverage paint. So I might have to paint those a base coat and paint over them. See what this looks like on the green when I finish painting this little tail bit here. Paint a couple of them and see what they look like. If it's not good, then we'll try something else. Yeah, so I'm going to paint a couple of these little spiky things, and we'll see if this works on the green undercoat. Get it down, make sure it's covering the base of the spine. If it goes a little too far, that's okay, because I can paint back up to it. But I want to make sure it gets down far enough. It seems to be working okay. Other than having squeezed out way more than I needed, because it just, that's what happened. But you know, it's a big bottle, so I guess wasting a little bit of it is okay. Nice color. It's kind of two sets of these. There's one back on the tail, and then there's a gap across the middle of the body. And then they show up again on the neck. So we'll do these tail ones first from both sides. They get kind of big back here. Do one from this side and then see how much. Wow, that was weird. That it just globbed down here. Yeah, I should have done this side first. Can't reach it. I have to put it down near here, way down here, in order to get to it. Hopefully you can still sort of see what's going on. It's gonna be some difficult touch-up work back here on the bottom of the tail. Thing I'm finding is that it gums up the brush fairly quickly. So let me clean it off. Just now to make sure getting like the edges, the front. around on these, make sure I covered enough of it, knowing that I'll probably have to come back and forth a couple of times until it's, until it's covered just right. The spine's up here on its neck. And I'll be doing the same sort of thing. That was a slip there. I want to, get the paint down to the base of the spine without getting it too much on the body. It's not always entirely clear where the line of demarcation is on these things. Probably more often than not go a little too far, but since I have to use that dark green again definitely anyway, we'll be doing touch-up like all these little spots. Somehow the brush, I don't know how it managed to get through to the other side, but it did. But for the most part, I think that looks pretty decent on there. It's not too... I like the kind of glossiness of it. Especially since this whole thing will be kind of pearly. Like I said, I'm trying to experiment with these paints, and this is a good model to do it with. Other side, and I'll check the front and the back after that. Here I'm getting like the backs of the spines, that there's, not leaving areas just totally uncolored. The front especially. There's all sorts of little spots to clean up, but not too bad. Looking around to see, yep. So I think those are pretty good. You know, like I said, the squeeze, that paint just came out like way too much for what I needed. So that's too bad, but touching the spots that didn't get covered quite here. Down onto her body the tiniest little bit. Yeah. Okay, so clean off the brush here and let that set for a bit. And then get out the dark green again. Be doing a couple of things. One is I'll be, you know, touching up things like the spots there, in there, you know, where the pearlescent got where it shouldn't have been. And there's a spot here that could use a little more pearl. I'll be touching up the spots where the pearlescence shouldn't be. But also what I want to do is get the green, the dark green, more symmetric. So like I pointed out before, the stripe down the side here needs to be on this side, and then this bigger area of dark green needs to go there. Your rear legs are pretty symmetric. There's just a couple of spots. And then there's areas, you know, along the tail where the dark green just got, I just covered it over with a lighter green, and, you know, I'll just touch those up a little bit. So it'll be kind of fine brush work. Guess I'll be using this little one for the most part. And then what I think I'll do, you know, and then I'm seeing parts here, like here. This is still even liquid. Yeah, it still is. Like, just maybe I'll do that since I'm waiting. Is places where I did the thick green that ended up just not getting covered in between the toes here. Once I've got it out and I'm rotating it and the paint's still good, just do that. These spots. Unspotted, or the inside of this toe that didn't get painted at all. And those are spots and areas that will definitely be that color. There with the dark green that didn't get covered, see? That kind of stuff happens. In front of this claw, these claws didn't get much paint on them. Just keep rotating it and finding those areas that definitely need some touching up. So after I'm done with the dark green, touching up, and then probably retouching a couple of spots until it looks good, I'm going to pull out the dark green pearlescent and basically do a dry brush on it to give it kind of a pearlescent look and blend it together. I'm going to do that and then let it set, and then I'm going to do my best to put the pink stripe in, the bright stripe that lizards sometimes have along their body up into their neck. And yeah, I'm kind of liking the way this looks, but you know, it needs that bright stripe. I'm going to get one, and if it doesn't look good, well, then it will get unstriped. This is kind of a pain under here, isn't it? And then after that, then the underbody coat. Actually, ideally, I should probably put the underbody coat on before I stripe it. So I think I'll do that. I'm going to do the dark green touch up and spread around a little bit. And then I'm going to do the green pearlescent wash on it. And then I'm going to do the underbody because, you know, the demarcation between the kind of tan colored underbody and the rest of this will help determine where the stripe goes. Preferably, yeah. We'll just see how that goes. Okay. Playing around with that. I like to do a two-tone stripe. I like to do I'm going to put pink down with a scarlet overwash. And it'll be really bright. And I'd like to do a slightly lighter color under that. Maybe tan or buff or something. And put a red ochre under that. And then have the underbody just be a much lighter color. So there. Let's get the dark green again. We're going to start up here. Magnetic. Okay. I'm going to start up here untouching or retouching the spots that I made that bright orange. They're going to be green again, just to get those out of the way. There aren't too many of them, but they're pretty obvious, especially up here. And then I'm going to work on the boundary layer between this dark green and the other green. And I might go back and forth a little bit between the two colors until I'm happy with the boundary layer. And I'm thinking that the stripe is going to go between the green, the sick green, and the underbelly color. So where that boundary is eventually will be kind of an important spot. It's not going to be a really big stripe. It's going to be kind of a thin stripe. Stripes, if I can pull it off. Okay, so come on, paint, go where you need to go. I'm just touching up these little spine spikes here, these little fins. And then I'm going to work on adjusting the boundary between the two greens. So that looks. And then I'm going to put the pearlescent wash on the green. And I think it will look pretty cool, but we won't know until it actually happens. Okay, so work on the boundary area. Some of them is just along the tail here. Light green color, it just needs to be pushed down a little bit. Dark green is actually along the spine. Not a whole lot of it, but there's just some spots that just need to be dark green. There's a glute. And there's just like the whole brush in there instead of just the tip. Paint in the cap is starting to get viscous enough so that it's not working very well. To come down fairly far, but not too far, because otherwise I'll lose the place where the stripe will go. Okay, so there's a spot that didn't get covered, or maybe got uncovered. Well, I'm going to like how this kind of stripe worked down in the crease there. Do a little bit more of that here. And then on the other side, I'm going to do the same sort of thing down further onto the leg there. Down to the knee. Okay. Then up here, I was thinking of going a little further down. But actually I'm not, because I want the body color to come up. This is where the stripe is going to show the most, right along here. And so, like along here and here. So I'm not going to I'm just not going to take either color down further. In fact, I think the underside color will come up a little bit here. Definitely on this side it'll come up. What I'm going to do up here is touch that spot. Dark green down a little bit along the edges here. And then do this kind of thing here on this side like it is on the other. Kind of close down into the arm. A little bit of that kind of the body contour kind of thing like it did on the other leg. On this side, I got that pretty well, but it needs to be more of it here, in this part here. It doesn't have to be perfectly symmetric because the posture is definitely not symmetric, and you don't see the differences that strongly. Putting it down a little bit on the arm. Not covering the whole shoulder, but just down into it like that. And then I need to bring it along here. Yeah. So that the green, I like the green, just, a little bit of the dark green along the whole edge there. There's dark green below the spines. The body color, the bottom part is actually going to come up higher on the neck here, because I want the stripe to show from about here down to here. It'll be a little bit on the tail. It'll probably end about here, because it just disappears. But on the side of the body and under the neck, I want the stripe to be fairly prominent. And that's going to be between the green and whatever the underbody ends up being. Not the same. Trying to get these. The posture is so different that it's hard to get any kind of symmetry going there. guess it just depends on whether it looks okay from the side. Whatever side you're looking at, if it looks okay from that side, well, then it's okay. I might get the sick green out. There's just a few spots that are lighter, but I think for the most part, this is looking okay. I'm going to do a little bottle repair work here before I cap this up. Okay, there's just a lot of paint that's gummed up on the rim of this bottle, and I'm going to go out of my way to take that off. Well, this is drying a little bit. I'll let that sit there and dry while I clean this bottle cap off, the bottle top off, carefully scraping the paint away from the bottle so it doesn't fall in. What happens, is you shake the bottle. Nope, there. That's what I was trying not to do. Paint gets in the bottle cap, and then when you recap it, it sticks to the top of the bottle and then gums it up so you can't seal it again. And sometimes the cap just sticks so tight that you can't actually ever get it open. So there, clean up on aisle 1. So I'm going to get the sick green out, just look all over the place. There's like a couple spots I can see now that need to be touched up, especially around the feet. And then I'm going to pull out the dark green pearlescent and just do a really light, almost dry brush over the green to see how that works. Hopefully it'll work okay. Otherwise I'll need to just repaint it, which, isn't a disaster. This is a shiny lizard, obviously, because of all the shininess. Cleaning that, managed to unclean my hands. You want it to be filthy? You want it to be covered in mud and moss? As opposed to just shiny and clean? It might be a salamander. It might just have to be... Yeah, maybe I could put some dirt on its feet. I think we actually have some green flocking that was used for something ages ago. It's in a little envelope. So you just need to put like a little wet paint on it and drop the flocking on. It would look like a moss, like it's moss covered. So I'm going to get this color out and just do tiny bits of touch up here and there. Squeeze out one tiny drop as opposed to a big drop like I did before. Little brush out again. And I'm just going to be looking for spots that are missing paint. between the toes somewhere. Well, I'm not seeing a whole lot, so I'm sure I missed some spots that we'll have to come back to later. Something, you know, what might be interesting is just on the toes. You know, instead of doing just like regular shading, is to pull out maybe another one of the pearlescents or something and just darken them up. I'm just looking at this, and like the navy blue might be kind of fun, or even a copper color, a real contrast. Oh, look at that! Those are areas. Yeah, all of a sudden I turn the model this way, and I'm just seeing all these spots that just on the inside of the spines on the right side of its head that just are wrong. Brush on there. Yeah, look at that. Just where the orange, bright orange, kind of came down too far. Keep turning things, and you see stuff. Look this out. I think there was a spot here in the back of the leg, in the front that needed to be greened a little bit. This demarcation here, these here just aren't looking right. So since I've got this out again, yeah, I just missed those altogether. There. think I'm going to use a little bit bigger but not a huge brush for the pearlescent, which is going to be dark green. Wait a few minutes. Just a little bit on the paper towel. Just try to see how much to get on the brush. On the, I don't want it to be overwhelming. Do like I did with orange. Squeeze like half a bottle out or something. Just want to do that. See that? Just kind of little bits, just kind of just across the surface like that. I'm going to start getting a little bit on the brush. You can always get more, right? And I'm going to start by just pushing it over. You can see it a lot, but it's actually having some effect on the model. Especially shows up nicely in the dark green. I don't know if it's doing too terribly much on the stick green color. Darkens it, which I like, and blends it a little bit with the dark green. Gives it a shiny look. That might be kind of nice. Nice. Glosses it up. It's kind of cool. So let's see how we can get it glossy symmetrically. But I just wanted to play around with this pearlescent stuff. I hadn't used it before, and just to see what it does to a model. And this is, I don't know. I might either like it or not. But I think it's kind of a cool look. It's a really nice, bright, shiny lizard. It does a nice job of blending the colors together so they flow into each other a little better. That part I like a lot. The line of demarcation isn't quite so stark. You might not like the shiny look, but I think it you know, it's really shiny on camera, less shiny here, but it blended the colors together really nicely. I'm gonna keep that, and what I'm gonna do next is actually play with the spines on the toes a little bit with another one of these colors. Keep playing with them, see what happens. I use navy. Hopefully I can get a spot of it. I'm going to use a little brush. And what I'm going to just do with this is I'm going to paint, just highlight the ridges on the top of the feet. I want there to just be some sort of color distinction there at the bottoms on the tops of the feet there, so that it's not just this uniform green. Not too bad. We'll let the critics deal with it later. Right. That's kind of coming along okay. You know, kind of like it if somebody else doesn't. Well, then it can get painted over. What I do next, since I'm playing around with the feet here, is I'm going to paint the nails, the claw parts. I'm just going to paint those black. Like a sense of getting something finished. I'm going to paint the claws black. And then the claws will be done, and then I can keep grabbing onto them. You know, and then rubbing the paint off, so I have to come back and do it over again. Okay, well, there's that. Yep, that was fun. I'm going to get some black paint out. This, I think, our favorite NATO black. And then I'm going to paint the underside. The underside is, I'm going to paint it my favorite color for undersides of things, the dark sand color. It always looks really good as a underside. And then I'm just going to paint the chin, the whole face. I'm not sure what to do with the face, so I'm leaving a lot of that alone. I want to highlight the lips, the eyes, so on, so that, you know, the face will be a whole nother thing. What's that? Something in there that isn't even painted. So I'm just going to try to get this dark blue in there just so that it's covered with something. The thing with the claws, this needs to be cleaned off just like the other one was. I think the claws is that sometimes you can't really tell, you know, where the claw ended, you know, so I'm going to just try to get a good demarcation line on these. Okay, this brush is too little for this, even though I want it to be pretty, it's a detailed thing. I need something that holds more paint. This paint's a little viscous too. Doesn't even want to come off. This will just be a little more difficult than I had hoped. Yeah, the black claws against that dark blue. I think that looks okay. Then I'll paint the bottoms here. Okay, so now it's got black claws. I like the blue on the feet. You know, a lizard like this should have multicolors. Just kind of like thing up. Okay, yeah, I need to clean this. This one really got gummed up. There's a lot of paint inside the rim, but on the top. Since I already have some practice doing this, I'll do it on this one as well. We'll put that guy on camera. Amazing, you know, you get the same manufacturer of these paints, and each different color is so different from each other in terms of its fluidity, I guess I'll say. Some are really viscous, some are really thin, some cover really well, some cover need like 2 or 3 coats. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is paint the underside, basically all the stuff that's not already painted. Okay, and then I'm going to let that take a break and let that dry, because then I want to try to get a stripe or two onto it. I mean, not that it's not fancy enough, but a salamander should have a lateral stripe. And that'll be a little tricky. I want to get it down to the leg, but not over it, and on the body. Not all the way on the tail, but about to there. And do that on both sides. This side will be much easier because it's exposed more, other than the tail part. And I'm going to paint that. I'm actually going to paint that pink, and then do a scarlet overwash on it because it's going to be really bright. Because it's going to just scare people away. And what I'm looking for is dark sand. Squeeze some of this out onto here, and I'm going to use a slightly larger brush, and cover the part that's not covered. We've been using this for the underside of alligators and everything. I mean, it's just it really looks good as the belly of a beast. And up to here, like I said, I'm not really sure what to do with the face yet, but I do know that the bottom of the chin needs to be this color. Edges here. So the feet too, why not, right? I was thinking about making this shiny too, but I don't know. I'm not sure I need to make the underbelly shiny. we'll see how it looks after a while, after it dries. Kind of, but not quite even. Occasionally. It's kind of pushing the brush up into it to make it look, a little bit uneven, but not gabby looking. And then we'll carry that up the arm here and onto the neck, and then I'll fill in the belly part. I don't know what color that'll be, but easy to paint over it, I guess, or later. Okay, now I just need to fill this in and then check for spots that are just uncovered. This done, and I check for the spots that are not covered. I'm going to take a break, let this dry, come back to see how it looks, and if it's okay, then I'm going to attempt to paint a stripe. Look at that, just rubbed off the whole knee there. Try to touch that up before I get much further along. Yeah, I'm just pulling paint off and eye spots because there's no place to grab this guy. And then there's a green spot here. Little spots that need to be touched up with the base coat and with the gloss coat over it. think, yeah, maybe I'll just do that before wrapping up for a break, just because it's going to bother me otherwise. So what I need is the thick green and the dark green in tiny, tiny little spots. That one's really obvious. It's just right at the top. Still aligned. Nope. Just put it off the top of the bottle here, because the spots are really small. Right at the front of the feet, where I was touching it, as I was trying to hold on to it. Well, you got the knee spot. That's the most important one. And these little spots on this leg here don't want to get covered. Okay, I think that's okay. I'm going to let that go. Back in the camera here. You can see where the underbelly is there. And right along there, to attempt to paint a bright stripe. Make that attempt after a break. I'm going to be gone, probably like 10 minutes or so. Please return to see the drama of striping a lizard. I'll be back in a bit. Oh, I am back, and having taken a short break, actually a long break. I hope that some of you were able to stay with us. The hot pink lizards, yeah. I think, you know, we've got these really nice colors here, like magenta, ochre, and copper, and gold, and purple and stuff. We could make a really brilliant, shiny pink and purple lizard. So I don't know. If this one turns out okay, we can buy another one of these lizards and make it pink and purple. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do now is, because lizards often have these, is paint a stripe. I'll be painting a stripe right along here. Picking up here. Okay, and then if I can get to it a little bit along the tail. And what I'm going to do is I want the stripe to be this scarlet color. And I'm going to try to paint it the scarlet first without an undercoat. And if that doesn't work, then I'm going to use the pink paint and paint it and then paint an over stripe. But I'm going to continue the theme of glossiness, the shininess that comes with the pearlescent paints that has turned out actually to look pretty nice on the top of the lizard. Especially the way it blended together, the dark and the lighter greens. I like how that turned out. So I'm going to pull out scarlet. And I'm going to start to paint the stripe. I'm going to start in the place where I can actually get to. Okay, where I can actually reach. This side is going to be really more difficult. So I'm going to start on the side I can easily reach, just to practice with it. And I want the stripe to be, a decent size. So I'm going to use this brush because it holds a little more paint. And if it's just this wide, that would be fine. I'm going to stir this up pretty well. Whoa, that was a mistake. I'm just testing to see if that paint was still liquid, and it definitely is. So yeah, what I'm going to try to do, okay, I'm going to try this. Since the feet are already painted, so I'm going to put this down in, so I would just as soon not be grabbing it with my hands. You can always come back and touch up that foot, I guess. Let's see if that holds. That way it'll give me a little bit more control. Hopefully it'll stay as I paint along. As I paint along this demarcation line. So I'm not too worried about how the demarcation line looks right now, because that's where the stripe is going to go, right along there. So I'm going to be painting the magenta, or the pearl, scarlet, pretty much where the green is. And if that works, I'm going to take the red ochre, which is kind of a brownish color, and paint underneath it so it's a double stripe. That goes between the body color and the under color. Bury that deep in there. So squeeze some of this out, and I'll see if this covers. Like I said, if it does, if I can make this work by itself. That. If it doesn't, then I'll have to do an undercoat. Maybe the pink. going to be painting the stripe right along here. And that brush thickness is just about paint. This paint doesn't cover really well, and it's not coming off right. So you'll see. I think if I just keep going over it and kind of dabbing it on, that's what I want it to look like. And I can't really brush it on. I can kind of dab it on. And it's width. So if I'm patient and I keep at it, like, you know, basically coating and recoding, it should end up looking pretty much like what I had in mind. Let me gum up on the brush. This is going to take a little bit of patient working and reworking. That's the kind of colorful stripe. See that? That's the kind of colorful stripe that a lizard like this should have. I'm going to move it up a little bit further on the face, because again, I don't really know what I'm going to do with the face. I can always take it on. So yeah, if I keep up with this technique, keep my brush kind of clean, like it will work. Goes up to the edge of the leg here. And then I'll just continue it here on this little part of the body back here. I'm going to try to move it out a little bit, but this paint is so thick it doesn't brush really. But I think that's okay. So I'm going to try to get the tail here. I'd like it to continue along the tail just for a while at least. All the way to the tip of the tail. That just won't work anyway. But just along here at least. And it won't go to the tip of the tail just gets really thin. There isn't much room to put a stripe. Yeah, it's gluing down, but there's going to be a stripe underneath that that will cover it with another color. I think I'm going to take it out to about here, up there on the tail. I'm okay with it underneath. I'm fine with it being underneath like that. I mean, going down too far, because the other stripe will cover that, and then it'll be really easy if that goes too far to repaint that with that underbody tan color, especially here where I want the stripe just kind of taper away. Pink on the elbow there. I don't want that pink there. Let's see if I can wipe it off. I need to touch that up. And in the process, I managed to get rid of this. Okay, so that's kind of what I wanted it to look like. And let's see if I can do that on the other side. I'm going to start right up at the nose and work my way down to, in this case, I'll just go right down to about here on the arm. It's getting too wide there, but again, I'll be painting up from the bottom with the other color. And if that goes too far, I'll just recover it with the dark sand body base color. Mainly concerned about the top of the stripe there. Okay, I'll wipe off the brush again. Try to get this bit of the body under the leg, up to the other leg. Kind of given up on trying to maintain the width. And I'll just take the other one and recolor. Okay, now on the tail here, it's like on the other side, I'm going to carry the tail and carry it over to about here. So maybe a little, oh, okay, that's weird. That's just kind of a mess there. Maybe a little bit further along here. but to about there maybe. It just doesn't want to go in that spot at all. I'm trying to get underneath it and push paint up into it. It's weird. Like this. Like, nope, no, not going to cover there. Nope, nope. No matter what you do, there we go. The stripe will just kind of fade away down here. So I'm going to look around. There's some spots where cover a little better. I think I might want that actually a little bit lighter here. I can always make it thinner, painting up into it, but I kind of like it like on the other side where it's just a little lighter. Especially here where it shows more. That's okay. We'll decide what to do with the face, like I said, a little later. So I'm going to let this set for just a bit, and then I'm going to get the other red ochre out. and paint the secondary stripe. And then depending on how that goes, I will and then I need to do some green touching up, like where I got there's a spot missing there. There's a elbow that needs to be covered up. Most of that is the sick green, so I'll be touching up with that, and then brush it real lightly with a deep green wash, just so that it doesn't stand out too much. Back of that foot, I don't know. I just need to do something with that. So I'm going to do some, actually, need to get this dark sand out a second to touch up the bottom of the foot. That one foot, yeah, that heel shows quite a lot, it just really does. So I need to do a much better job of the base of that foot. At least, figure out where the base of the foot is. Paint on here to actually come off on the model. Just take this dark sand and spread it around a little bit further on the foot. Touch up a spot there and make this line here a little more even. Bringing the green down to it a little bit, but that was just not looking very good. And since I'm getting the sick green out again to do touch up, I'll touch that spot and that spot. When I cover up the red spot and the red spot and the not covered spots. The sole of the foot wasn't looking good. Because it's the base of the foot, you don't want it to look clean like the rest of it. I might just get out the umber wash and just wash the bottoms of the feet. Just the bottoms of the feet, so that they don't, not necessarily the front claws, but the other ones. So I know that stripe looks okay, but I really think it needs to be a double stripe. So I'm going to put the other color on, the red ochre, which is kind of a cool color, and then pull out the dark sand and delineate cleanly the bottoms of the stripes, especially where it tapers in the tail. Red ochre. And we're going to do the same thing just did along the bottoms of that stripe. Hopefully this paint will cooperate almost as much as the other one did. Basically what I want to do is get this to come out. I think there's a paper thing underneath here that got gummed up. I think whatever the size hole is in it is not there anymore. It says handy nail. Yeah, see it's the opening in the plastic. Keeping it from drying out. Try again. Whoa. Yeah. Whooshed out really badly. Okay, so we're going to try to use this paint, which is a really cool color, to paint a stripe under that stripe. And I think it'll be a nice, it'll show up just enough. Really close to the lower body color. And kind of a subtle transition. Way off camera. But this is where the model has to be in order for me to hold it and paint it. Doing slightly into the red. Maybe a little thicker than I want because I can cover that up with the dark sand. Darker on the color chart than it is looking on the model. Maybe it gets darker as it dries, I don't know. Color's better than the other, though. It spreads nicely. And I can use this to adjust the width of the red line. Like here, it's too thick on the cheeks, so I can cover up into it a bit like that. Do this down here along the body. We'll do some on the tail here. That tail, that stripe got too thick. This will help delineate it a little bit. And then where I want it to taper off here, this little pretty round. Disappear into the look. So, it's a nice transition color. It sort of blends into the bottom, but it gives it a little glow. So I'm going to try to do the same sort of thing on the other side now. Letting this get much wider than I want. I have to do a bunch of touching up with the sand anyway. Okay, because it's just right there, and in the right light, it shows pretty nicely. Do something with the tail here. This will be a little bit tricky. Extra wide here because I'm much more concerned about the width of the magenta stripe than the bottom of the tail, because I can get at that bottom pretty easily. Just to kind of come to a point here. Cover up the shiny bit with dark sand paint after this dries. Now there's the extra, there's the other stripe. What I need to do is bring out the sand and just touch up, where I want that stripe to be. This is good. I like that width. It's not bad there. A little bit long, a little bit wide. And then I've got a bunch of the green touching up to do. And I need to figure out what to do with the face. You think you like the bringing the magenta stripe right across? I like that. I'm gonna see if that is still liquid. I'll bring it right all the way across under the nose there. There is sort of a mouth line. Yeah, it's really difficult to see, but what I might be able to do is with a really fine brush is highlight that with a black wash. You can see it right there. Play around with the face a little bit. Obviously needs to be green under the eyes here. Pink. Playing around with the face a little bit here. What I'm tempted to do is when I get out the sick green, that works. So I'm going to paint under the eyes. I'm going to paint it the sick green color. Get out that dark wash again, because I have to get that out to fix some of the other things. The dark green wash. And then under the eyes, I'm going to use that blue that I used on the toes. Just under the eyes. What color to make the eyes? They need to stand out. Red, maybe? And you could just do a red block. Blue eyes. I think we've got a couple of blue colors. I could do them like turquoise almost, maybe. Dark blue. I could do it that medium blue color. I could do it light blue. They look kind of ghostly, maybe, and I could even try to do sort of what I'm going to try to do first, though, is I'm going to finish touching up around it. I'm going to paint the eyeballs. That'll require retouching, probably, is it? Just to get the edges right. Then I'm going to try to do the mouth. I'm going to do this last. This will be fairly easy, all this touch up. Here, it's pretty clear that this looks bad here. This leg color, even though the under color probably would be where that part of the leg is, it just looks like a paint mistake. So I'm gonna paint that in that way. Just do the sick green touch up, and then I'll probably have to pull the paint out again to do a little touch up somewhere if the non-shiny stuff shows too much. I touched some spots with the wrong colors. There's a pink spot here. And tail there. I think it's coming along okay. Just need to work on the face now. That needs to be spotted out. And then the last thing I'll do is I'll fix underneath here with the body color. Face is going to take a little work, so I'm going to start working on that. And the first thing I'm going to try to do is this almost invisible little line here where the mouth is. It's just an indentation. And what I'm going to do is get some black wash. Use a dark gray and try to get in there. And it'll probably get around where I don't want it. And then I can touch up down to it and up to it until it looks okay. And then I'll have to decide. I'm thinking the red stripe needs to go under the mouth, so that might be, or maybe it doesn't even come up. We'll see how it looks. We'll see how it looks after the mouth is done. Which needs to cohere, hopefully, with the wash it will. Steel metallic. Dark gray. So this will probably make a real mess of the face, but like I said, we'll just keep working at it until it looks like it's okay. Bunch of it in the bottle cap here, so I'm just going to do that here. Get it so it sort of saturates the brush a little bit and it keeps the point there. Nikki's really good at this kind of thing, and I'm not so much. So as far as I can see, it starts here. Black wash just kind of seeps into the crack. Which is good. That's what we're aiming for. You know, and it's getting over the edges, but at least you can see where it is now. And then it gives us the opportunity to paint back up to it. Decide what colors. Yeah, just making it even more messy, but into that indentation. I mean, you can see where it is now, and now I can paint up to it and down to it. Might have to go back and forth many times, but yeah, that's good. So I'm thinking the red stripe will end right about where it is, right about here on both sides, and that I'll delineate this part with that red ochre, which seemed to flow pretty well. And then I need to touch up the top with the sick green. Here. Didn't work. Let's paint that. I'll paint that over. I'm going to let that dry, and then paint the eyes. And I think I'm going to use that light blue color, because it's just going to look kind ghostly almost. It'll look very different than the rest of them. No, the lizard doesn't have a name. We can have a naming contest. Would you like to make the first suggestion? Salamandro? Lizardo? Something really clever like that? Do that? No, that would just be stupid. So I'm going to paint the eyeballs here. Brush tip. That was a fail. We're just going to keep painting back and forth over that. That just didn't stay where it needed to stay. Like the paint gummed up on the brush tip before I could even get started. So I'm just going to paint great big bulgy eyeballs and then paint back to them. Like an eyebrow kind of thing, I guess. I'm just going to paint these much bigger than they should be and then fix them. That is a really nasty mold protuberance right in the middle of the eyeball. To somehow get that out. Really bad there. That's where the eyeball is supposed to be. And instead of being an indentation, it is a protuberance. So I'm going to massacre the face here as I attempt to. There we go. Good. Oh, no. Oh, that looks really bad. Yeah, it just really does. So we're going to keep making it look bad here and then work at it until it doesn't. And they have this ghostly blue. It's actually a fairly well delineated eye here. Cannot see because of the way it's painted. Okay. Now, you have to let that dry. It's kind of a ridge above the eye. That'll be okay. This is a mess too. All these bottles covered with dried paint. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is this. As you can see how the mouth got all kind of ragged on the bottom. is I'm going to take the red ochre paint again. It's this one here. Still okay. And I'm going to be painting underneath here. The bottom lip and chin, shiny chin. Paint up to the red stripe here now near the cheek. As I'm doing this, I can see, where the groove is for the mouth, and I'm able to paint kind of up to it, moving the brush kind of sideways without getting into it. And at least on the bottom, it's still kind of big and scabby looking at the top, you can see that. At least on the bottom it'll be pretty well delineated. I think go here. I want this to go a little further back. With the red stripe more or less matches the other side. The chin. Need to work at the top and get the paint around the eyes. And I think I'm going to do that with the dark green above the eyes here. Like this one held up pretty well. See that? With the same sort of look there. So I'm going to do the tiniest little touch of the dark green. Get that right. Get the sick green out again and paint around the bottom of the eyes. This ridge here, that to be the dark green. This is going to be difficult. It's kind of textured. This paint is kind of not working. This is where I get to line. Paying the price for that little bit of mold material. there before. To play with this a little bit, the on the nose here. His right eye is really coming along on the ridge there to this nicely delineated. On the left side, it's not smooth, it's just lumpy, so I'm going to have to just keep painting at it back and forth until it kind of looks okay, even though the mold is messed up. Paint under the eyes with thick green. Right. Delineate the right eye, so it's the way I want it to be, and then just play with the left eye until it looks sort of symmetric. It's pretty clear that the brow on the left eye just comes out over it higher, more, so that it might not be perfectly even look. I need to do some tiny little touches with the green gloss paint, the lesson paint, just to unify the look of the face. But the other thing I'm thinking of doing is this blue color that I used on the feet, is I might just paint it under the eyes after I get the line right, is to use that color. Give it a different look there. This obviously is just a real mess around the mouth here. And you get enough paint on this little brush to clean this all up. the mouth first, and then I'll work around the eyes. And camera. Yeah, sort of close enough. Mouth right. The eyes I'm not too worried about. I can just keep going back and forth. But this is kind of a pain to work on. Little, like to have a tiniest little spot of dark right there. Bit of unevenness, but let me see if I can get the right eye the way I want it, and then if I can get the right eye done, then I can work on the left eye. Try to make it look similar, despite the fact that it's molded very poorly. On this side, it's really clear there's this big flat eyeball. At the edges of it. Where that eyeball is going to be. On the other side, getting up down here, that's okay. Do here is now looking at the front, both eyes at the same time. I can see that this needs a touch here. Inside out here. It looks better. bit of the lighter green on the outside like that. That came out really well. This is coming out me. Most of it needs to be with the sick green. We need a little bit of the blue here on the inside of that eye. That dry and get out the sick green yet again, and just keep working on that left eye until I can make it look okay. Really not cooperating. You have it just right down here. Underneath where that mold mark was. Get the blue in there. And then I can paint sick green. One down maybe up or the top a little bit. Let me get it right, because here the delineation, the ridge above the eye is really good, but here it's just basically a lumpy mess. So that's the way that is, lumpy mess. Green, now looking down at it from the top. Symmetry and a little bit too much sparkle right here. On the nose that needs to be darker. Because when you're looking at it from the top, it's really obvious. This part will not be sparkly. Figure this out. And it continues to be a challenge, I think. It needs, I'm going to put some blue paint under here, and then I can paint back up to it. I want there to be enough of it there so that when I get the lighter green color back out again, I can make a line that's symmetric with the right eye. And I think this will allow that to happen. Need to play around with that nose a little bit, you know, look at it from different angles, and it just isn't quite right. So make this a little bigger than maybe it needs to be so I can come back up to it. But the nose looks like it just needs to go down to kind of dividing line kind of there, and on the other side there's kind of a place where it's raised and then it meets down below. Nose. A bit more here. Try that eyeball again and see what we can do with that. What we need to do is just a little bit here, tiny bit there. Bit here. Weird, that's green there, but it doesn't look green. Maybe that's what we'll do, the darker color. What I was thinking of doing is use blue color on the toes. I was thinking of using that under the eyes. But now I'm not so sure. Now I think I'm just going to get out that green wash and touch it up so that it's, so that this is continuous under the eyeballs. And that's going to just be tiny, tiny little bits of it. Just kind of washed across the top surface. Because I'm thinking now, if I did that blue under there, it would just really be distracting. So I need little tiny touches of this. Just use it right off the top of the bottle here where it's leaked. What I'll do is I did on the other side so that there's kind of brings the colors together, darkens it a little bit, gives it this same kind of shiny look. And then we have the rest of it. shiny eyebrows. Okay, well, there's a face. There's a, not great, but it'll do. Now all I have to do is touch up the bottom with the dark sand color, which will be pretty easy to do, I think. Having said that, what I know will happen is that the brush will flip and I'll put a big blot somewhere else where I don't want it, and that'll make a mess. Drop of this, as I'm not covering much surface area at all. What I'm doing is just touching up spots that are not well covered, and finishing off just the width of this second stripe underneath, because I went ahead and made it pretty thick in certain areas, just so it was there, especially along here. So this will just define the edge of that stripe. Touch up under here. This side is actually pretty good, except maybe a little bit under the chin here, but you can't ever really see it anyway. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. It's way too thick there, so we'll do that as well. Make it about that width. Okay, and then the tail, and continue under here to make that a little narrower, and so that it ends up tapering nicely into the red stripe back here. There we go. Right, and then I said I was going to wash the bottoms of the feet, and I will still do that. Yuck. Yeah, I need to pull it off of there to do this. I think that this paint is still liquid enough to touch that up. Yeah, it helps if you get the other color off first. Don't make it even worse. There's actually a spot there that where the stripe kind of got discontinuous, and I need to come back and get that. It's kind of weird. It just like got missed. We'll just keep doing all these little touch-ups on the belly. And then fix that one stripe, and then I'll wash the feet. And then I will call it good. So we'll finish that. And there's still paint here. That might just be good enough to touch that up. No. Okay. So there's that. Now I'm going to wash the bottoms of the feet, which seems like something that is maybe excessively unnecessary, but excessively unnecessary. I thought they showed, but they really don't, not when it's sitting there. Should I wash? I might just wash the underside. You know, it looks pretty. Pretty lifeless. We've done that in the past. Just put a light brown wash on the dark sand, and then it looks better. I just saw another spot that was uncovered. So actually I'm going to do that. I mean, that really looks lifeless and it loses the texture. So I'm going to get the umber wash out. And that'll be the last bit. I'm going to wash all of this dark sand just kind of lightly, trying not to get it on other things, but just to make it look a little less lifeless. And that'll use up most of the remaining time, especially if I can't find it. Using up this palette. Sorts of stuff in these little wells. On pretty thin, so I'm going to put it on the brush, get most of it off the brush. And you can see what's happening here. There's not very much of it, but it picks up some of the texture of the print. And even though it's really subtle coloration, it just looks already, even before it dries, just looks better. And just brushing it real lightly all over the dark sand underside. I think it helps the size of the stripe too. You can see it a little better when the area next to it has a little wash on it. I'm putting hardly any on. And I will get the bottoms of the feet since I'm doing it. With the feet, I'm going to bring it up into the green just a little bit. Okay, flip that around and we'll get the backs of these legs and the tail. And that's part of the foot I was concerned about. That does show. Just a little bit of the tail that doesn't have stripes on it. Yeah, I mean, it darkened it quite a lot, but I think it looks a little bit better than it did when it was lifeless. Really? Okay. Yeah, one more spot. Is there enough paint somewhere? A little green paint. No. Okay. Just the inside of that toe is green. Okay, well, what we have here is one shiny lizard with an official magenta, well, scarlet stripe. Now, as I said, I wanted to play around with the
with the pearlescent paints to see how they would look. And I think it really worked nicely on the top here, where it just sort of blended the dark and the lighter green together so that it doesn't have a sharp boundary line. The line is still there, but it just darkened everything up a little bit and brought the colors together. I played a little bit with blue on the toes just to highlight them so they didn't look bland. I thought about doing the blue here on the face, but decided not to because it would just be way too distracting. And then the scarlet and the red ochre to create a nice lizardy side stripe. I think that came out okay. So there, and get a happy smiley face and blue ghostly eyeballs, at least one good one and one lumpy one. So there we are. A lizard. Put that here. Let's see it there. Thank you for joining, those of you who did, watching Relaxing Painting with Dice and Dungeons. Remember, Dice and Dungeons does painting usually 3 times a week. I'm not sure, probably not Monday because it's the 4th of July. I might be taking that day off. I'm not sure, but I'm guessing we will. But Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 10 until 2. The 3 of us all take turns. Nikki, Alexis, and I will be painting various and sundry figures. We have a whole kind of lizard army that we could be working on. We've got a boar. The boar might be a little boring, but, you know, one more thing for Zoria to turn into. We got another crab, another giant dire crab. Nikki did an amazing job on the last one. I don't know if we need another one or not, but there it is if we do. Yeah, and so all these guys can join Sturmgrimmy and the giant snail, the other creatures that we've been painting over the last couple of weeks. Also, since the camera is right in front of me, please, if you can, join us on Sundays at 2 o'clock for our D&D campaign, which is entering a very dangerous and exciting phase over the next couple of weeks, as our group tries to tune in, see what they're doing, see what kind of trouble we've gotten into this time. There's some touch-up that I would like to do there. Just a little bit of touch-up with this big glob of paint. I will peel it back. This is liquid underneath yet. No sense wasting yet more. You know, I've got a couple of minutes yet, but I saw that one of these top scales just is not painted well. Where was it? Here, this one. It's just not painted to where it needs to be painted. But just these little touches. Right there. Now that's better. Yeah, so please join us Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 12 until 2. Sundays, starting at 2, our D&D campaign, which is entering a really exciting and dangerous phase. We will see if we live through it. If you like what you see, feel free to follow on all the social medias. And also, if you like, join us on Patreon. Patreon.com/diceanddungeons. We welcome your support. One more go around. Looking up the lizard. Tiny lizard. Really? Look at that. Another spot. That's what happens when you look around. As you see spots. That wasn't a spot. That was a dust. Sometimes it's just dirt that lands on the surface. Yeah. Tiny lizard. That actually is a spot. Yeah, now that I look at it from this angle, it does not look right. Right here. It is too much red. Now, we're painted over it. And there's too little red. Yeah, fix one thing, do another thing, make a mess. Let's just go back and forth here, because I've got, what, 5 more minutes to fix this. Little bit too much. At the end of the show here, I'll just grab that touch and go back to where I made too little red into too much red into too little red. There it is, right there. Okay, that's good. Wow, that's all gumming up already too. Maybe we'll stop looking at it. If I keep looking at it, I'm going to find something else, and it will never end. So, again, thank you. Very menacing, very shiny. If it comes at you at night, a little bit of moonlight will catch it, and you'll definitely not be surprised. So there we go. Thanks for joining in. Please join us on social media. Become a follower. Become a Patreon sponsor. Become a fan. So Dice and Dungeons welcomes you and thanks you. So I'll be tuning out now. Thanks so much.